Great. Did you know that people make that in 1 year?
Legitly, yeah?
Legitimately.
Okay.
No stress, no headache. What you've amassed over 5 years, and after the 5 years, you're still in here.
Yeah.
I don't really like studying, but there are other things that you can do now. There are options.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is, based on what you've done to get yourself here, you've got skills, valuable skills.
All I know is how to just move this and move that.
In the same way you move this, you move that, you can move this, and you can move that, and get a cut from this. And
What's for real?
yeah.
What's one of your members is person that set up the
Yeah.
studio?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at
I
that.
know.
That is
That's magic,
That
bro.
is testimony
Yeah, man.
to your work.
Yeah.
That's cold.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, we just got to take that in a second. like, we got to take that in. Literally take that in a second.
Yeah.
A member of your alumni, a member from a previous cohort. What year was he on? Do you remember?
2016, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And look at that. We're in his studio.
One of his.
One of his. Sorry, one
Oh,
of
so
his.
he's got more
studio.
than one.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, no, I'm super proud of him.
No,
Super proud of him.
I'm proud for you. Like this is why I'm so happy to have people like you on the show, because I feel like you said, people that leave and make that change, not a lot of them are ready to come and say, look, this is what I'm doing, you can do it too.
But you know what? It's a fear of not being accepted, and this is also one of the things that we touch on in our sessions. Being comfortable to be who you are, understanding who you are, understanding the value that you can bring to the table, regardless of the start that you had in life. Do you know what I mean? So when I go in and I speak to corporates and I speak to, like, you know, senior people around the table, and I'm talking about the work that we do, if I'm talking about it from an ex-offender standpoint or a young person that's been involved in a bit of criminality, I get them to think about some of the mistakes that they made in their lives that they got away with, that they didn't get caught for. But some of the young people that we work with made one mistake, 10 years.
Yeah.
How'd you come back from that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I
That's
mean?
a big blow, isn't
Do
it?
you know what I mean? How'd you come back from that? Who's there to help pick you up, pick you back up again and be like, yeah, all right, cool, you did something silly, but that doesn't have to define you,
Yeah.
right? But because there's not a lot of people telling young people that they feel like, if I've made it out, I'm out. But
And don't look back.
no, but there's power in your story. Like for me, it took me hitting 30 for me to really make sense of my life and the journey that I was on. Because I started to think. I think maybe if I didn't make some of the mistakes that I made early on, and I didn't make some of the decisions that I made early on, definitely I wouldn't be the person that I am today. But then look at it on the flip side. Because I made those mistakes, because I chose to go down that path, I can engage and relate to people that I wouldn't have been able to if I just stayed on the straight and narrow.
true.
Very true.
I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. And like I said, not only do we work with those young people that have a checkered past, but young people as a whole. So it's about me really being able to understand my journey, understand how I navigated to this point, and draw strength from that. And with that strength, be able to use that same strength to help another young person. So the work doesn't stop now. We had our eighth year anniversary, and the guy that owns the studio, Michael, he came along to that, and he shared his story, because right now, like, the organization, it looks proper, it's clean, you know, we've got the corporate sponsorship, and we look like we're up there, do you know what I mean? But it didn't start like that, bro. It didn't start like that.
That was real.
Do you know what I mean? Like, his session was delivered in a community center in Angeltown.
Okay.
It was rough. Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, we had a projector screen then, but there was once upon a time we didn't even have a projector screen.
Man.
I had to print out the presentation and give it to the young people.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Now, like, we're in corporate spaces. We use corporate spaces to deliver our session. That's all part of the mindset adjustment for the young people as well. Like, coming into the city, coming into a corporate building, sitting in the conference room and taking in the session there
Yeah.
changes something. in
Being
you.
called sir.
All of that.
Madam.
At the reception, all of that.
Yeah, no,
all of that.
them little things
It
can
matters.
change, like can make a
100%.
little.
100%. So when he did the program, it was rough. Do you know what I mean? So him sharing that to the cohort that see it now and the young people that see it now, and obviously like when you graduate, you get goodie. You didn't even have a graduation. We couldn't afford a graduation
Wow.
for him. You know, so it's little things like that. Them being able to see the journey and the growth of the organization. Do you get it? Like every single year we step it up. Every single year we get bigger, and that's a testament that what we set out to do originally still stands and it still works, and young people can actually see the organization. So that inspires them that if I keep going with this goal and this dream and this desire that I have, it's going to happen one day. So my change isn't over just yet. I'm still evolving. I'm still growing. Do you know what I mean? When I started, I was single, wasn't married. Now I'm married, got a little one, got a family, got a home. All of these things alongside growing the organization as well. So for me, it's like I'm becoming well-rounded, like a pillar within the community, like a signboard that people can say, "Rah, that's one person that's done it. That's another person that's done it," and that's what we're instilling in the young people within our community. So like we're here now. You just share that story. Other people are going to be inspired by it. Young people that come up in the program are going to see what he's doing and be like, if he did it, I can too. So those seeds are just being planted
and they're growing
all over the UK, and they're growing. And we keep watering them, and they're growing. As we're growing, they're growing, and they are our successes. They're our trophies, and they always will be. So as more they win, the more wins they have, the more wins we have. And now we're getting into a stage where we're introducing members of our alumni network to people within my network that can give them seed funding for their businesses, that can give them grants and loans for their businesses, that can invest in their businesses and take their businesses to the next level. For me, it's just about opening more and more doors of opportunity for more and more young people.
And I'm testimony to that, because we went on a Zoom call through social art. Big up social art.
Big up social art.
And I was like, "Oh, do you mind if you like come on?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Is he just saying that? Like, is he just?" So I quickly said, "He's like, yeah, hit me up. You got my details." He gave everyone his socials, his email, everything. So I was like, "Let me hit him up ASAP." So message response instantly. I was like, you know what? That's it. The guy's true to his word. I love that, and you're here today. So that's amazing.
But that's what it is. Like, I mean, I've always been like that, and even when I went into the prisons to do the like one-off sessions as well, it's the same thing. I printed out like little cards. I gave it to every single person that was in there. Everyone that came for the session had to be due to be released in the next 3 to 6 months. And I felt like, if I give you my details, the moment you step out, hit me up. I'll get back to you and I'll get you on the full program. And, you know, we can then, like, because we only help and work with people that have completed the program, just to make sure that, you know, that they're serious
committed
about and they're fully committed to the change. And if we're going to be introducing you to people with an art, we need to know you.
Yeah, you have to be vetted. I mean? You have
exactly.
Like, touching back on that prison thing. Sorry to cut you, just touching back on prison, because I saw on your LinkedIn page, you had the quote that, I think one of the quotes was, "Oh, the wealthiest place is the graveyard." I don't know where did that come from.
So it was Miles Monroe that said. I think it was Miles Monroe. Someone said it anyway, but it was something that you hear all the time. And I used to agree with it. I used to believe it until I went into one of the prison sessions, and I said, "Nah." I was deeply inspired by some of the ideas that the guys in there have. I'll tell you about a concept that we use at 2020 Change, and that's where the ideas kind of stem from. I came out of there just deeply inspired, and that's when I penned that little blog piece down, and I said, the wealthiest place on earth isn't the graveyard, it's the prisons. Because everyone in the graveyard's gone, they're dead. They're buried with their ideas. They still can't implement those ideas. Whereas those who are in the prisons, they're locked away, but one day they're going to come out. Do you know what I mean? One day they're still going to be able to implement these dreams and these ideas that they've spent the last 5-10 years penning down. So when I go into the prisons, and as part of our program, we teach on a concept called the videotape. So videotape is where we put you on the spot at the beginning of a session. Like about week 2, we introduce it in, and we ask you to introduce yourself as you would 5 years from now.
Okay.
A very, very detailed introduction. So my name is, and the year is 2026. And it's 2026, and I'm involved in like a detailed blueprint of what your life will look like in 2026. Both the challenges that it took. So obviously everyone talks about the successes, but then we press them a bit harder and say, okay, in order for you to hit all of these successes, what challenges that did you face?
Yeah.
How did you overcome them? What are the steps that you took to get here? If that's 5 years from now, what did you need to do in 3 years? What did you need to do in 1? What did you need to do in 3 months? And that way you've got a detailed plan of how you're going to execute what it is that you want to
get to your 5-year self.
And get to your 5-year self. And then you've got all of the challenges that you faced, so you're already expecting them to come. So when they show up, it's like, I've been there before.
Yeah.
I know exactly what to do. So one of the guys in there, funny story.
Yeah.
So one of the guys in there, he shared his 5-year videotape of him wanting to set up a business and X amount of turnover and all about the challenges and that. And he actually hit me up.
Wow.
The moment he came out.
Okay, he was serious.
Did the full program. Was on the same cohort as Michael. On the same cohort as Michael. And believe it or not, this is what 2020, his company's turning over 1.7 million.
Mad.
Cold.
So for me,
And
that
he
blog,
was from on a prison session.
yeah,
Cold.
that blog stands true. Do you get it? But it's just a matter of how far are you willing to, or how hard are you willing to work to make your dreams come true.
Yeah, man.
It's possible, bro.
It's definitely
Of
possible
course.
because you see, like,
Of course it's possible, man.
because you see, like when we was doing what we was doing, on the roads, likewise, probably yourself, you're putting in a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You're putting in a lot of groundwork and a lot of hours, planning, linking up, organizing, networking, traveling, energy, and not sleeping, not eating, stressing. All of that energy that you're putting into that to make that change that is not taxed.
Yeah.
You could transfer all of those skills that you're building up, all of those things that you're learning into something else positive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
But for some reason, I don't know, for me personally, I can only speak about me personally, it's like we were stuck in a mindset that like this is the way we could do it.
Yeah.
But that's all you saw. No one showed you that there was something else that you could do.
Lack of, I don't know if it's opportunities or lack of that something
access to opportunity.
Yeah,
Because
I think
opportunities are there.
definitely
It's
lack
the
of
access to it. It's the access to it and access to the right people to guide you in the right way. So part of the prison sessions that we did, we'll go in. So anyone that's been in prison, you know the prison job fairs.
Yeah.
So you have like construction,
Yeah.
railway, all these
That's
dead
like
jobs.
fast track.
Yeah. Easy. Like anyone that's coming out, so we go in there and we'll put up our banners and stuff and we'll say, so the inmates will come round and be like, okay, so tell us what's this job about. I said, it's not a job, it's a program.
Oh, so you go to like the jobs fairs bits where they, okay, cool.
This is how we started.
sick.
This is how we got
Yeah,
our way
okay,
in. 'Cause
okay.
obviously, like they're looking for employers to come in,
Yeah.
but we had something different to offer. So, first question I asked the guy that sits in front of me, I was like, "What are you in here for?" I was like, I don't know, but on the road, what are you in here for?
Okay, so let's do that with me. All right, cool. So yeah, I'm here for food and like drugs.
Cool. How much? Actually, no. Brown or white?
White,
Cool. How much?
half a box, so
Cool.
half a kilo.
Cool. And how much? How much is that street value?
So it depends on how you want to distribute it, but I can make anything from like 50k to like 75k if I wanted to.
Cool. So you got busted on that one box.
Yeah,
How many of those boxes have you moved prior?
it's just between us, right?
Just between us.
Maybe 4 or 5.
Cool. So if you tally that up, if you say for the duration of the time that you were on the road, how much would you say that you made?
That's like $250,000 to like 375, 400.
Just you,
Just me and my people.
your people.
Yeah.
So how much of that did you take away?
About 60% of that.
60%. Cool. And how many years did you spend doing that?
About 5 years.
5 years. So 60% of that over 5 years is how much? Give me a ballpark figure.
6%, that's like 140.
140k.
Around that, yeah.
Great. Did you know that people make that in 1 year?
Yeah. Legitly, yeah.
Legitimately.
Okay.
No stress, no headache. What you've amassed over 5 years, and after the 5 years, you're still in here.
Yeah.
You get it? So if I was to show you, see, it might take you 5 years to get there, but it's possible for you to get to a stage in 5 years where you're earning 140k a year. Just you.
How am I going to do that, big man?
It starts with you believing that it's possible and be willing to put in the work. So like you rightly said earlier on, all the work, effort, energy that you put into that, with the knowledge of knowing that one day, one move could go wrong and I've lost everything.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this is a surefire way that, yes, you'll start off on this and then gradually progress on to that. But eventually, you can get there. There are, and obviously, depending on your age at this point as well, I look at it, I've got friends that are, 30 plus on 6 figures a year. Easy.
Cool.
Some of them didn't even go uni. So that was another mindset thing. A lot of people that are inside feel like, I'm going to have to retrain. I don't really like studying. But there are other things that you can do now. There are options.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is, based on what you've done to get yourself here, you've got skills, valuable skills.
All I know is how to just move this and move that.
And I can teach you how moving this and moving that can translate into something else. In the same way you move this and you move that, you can move this and you can move that and get a cut from this and get a cut from that. The same thing. It's the same concepts. It's just changing what the product is.
Literally.
So a lot of people don't really understand that. And some people understand it, but it's hard. But as an organization, what we do is we guide you through that process. It's having that big bro that's been there before, that knows the right kind of people to introduce you to, that would understand your past. So understand that, you're a bit rough around the edges, but there's something good in there.
Cool.
And that's what we're looking to bring out. So throughout the duration of the program, the program really just kind of changes your mindset, helps you think in a different way, shows you what's possible.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the program, we don't just leave you to just finesse and do your own thing, connect you to the right people.
And that's key.
I think that's what makes the difference as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Having that, okay, we've come through it now. We've believed in the process. We've changed and learnt skills. Now we're here.
What's next? So for us, it took a while to get to that stage. We had more and more young people coming through. And we're like, we've got so many young people coming through now. We don't have enough opportunities. You don't have enough opportunities for the young people. That's why I had to tap into my network, all the contacts that I built over the years.
Yeah.
I've got young people that are interested in this. Can you help out? Open up a few opportunities. Just try them out. Internship. Firstly, we're doing like unpaid internships.
Yeah.
Now we only do paid internships.
Yeah.
We're in the process of launching our own recruitment arm now. So every single young person, we place a young person within a company and then they work their way up. A lot of companies are talking about diversity and inclusion. We're now working with those companies to help foster the right kind of environment, the right kind of culture that will be conducive for the young people that we're bringing in. So not only are we helping the young people change their mindset, also helping the corporates change their mindset and also thinking about the future. So after the George Floyd murder, the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of Black Twitter, Black social media was getting onto these corporates saying, "Why is your board so white? Show us your board of directors and no black people. How come all the black people stop at this level?"
Yeah.
How are the corporates supposed to respond to that? Do you know what I mean? Like there was an ultimatum, say by Tuesday, if you don't put this up, don't post up a black square. It's ridiculous, right? Like you're thinking about it now, everyone's laughing, right?
No, but it's
So
true.
I
It is
sat back and I
ridiculous.
thought about it. I was like, that don't make no sense. All right, everyone's angry. I get it.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, oh, but okay, now they want to listen to black people. Oh, now Black Lives Matter. I get it. It's taken them a long time to realize it, but the beauty is they now realize
They've
it.
realized
They've
it.
listened.
This
So
is
now
a
it's
great
key moment.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Now you realize it. Let's work together.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do to make sure in the next 5, 10, 15 years, we're not having the same conversation?
That's it.
Let's start at the entry level. We've got a pipeline of young people coming through. Let's get them in. Let's create a structure that can see them have a clear progression plan. And in the next 5, 10, 15 years, you have managers, junior managers, people progressing onto C-suite. And another thing that's happening in the recruitment space, because a lot of companies have that knee-jerk reaction, it's like, okay, cool, let's just appoint a black person, put them head of D&I. That's director level, that's C-suite. We've answered your question. And then you got a load of people that are in that position, they don't know what to do. So we can then go help them structure something. This is an opportunity for us to help you as in the same way that you're helping us. So it's not a charity thing. We're not just saying this is what
Just
we're doing
take us
within the
and
community,
Yeah.
you know, contribute and all of that. We're delivering you a service.
Exactly.
You pay us for that service, and that service enables us to continue to grow the work that we're doing in the community, at the same time making sure that in the next 15, 20 years, the conversation is different.
And the narrative's different.
Narrative's
And
different.
that's major institutional change.
It's
Exactly.
crazy, and also creating opportunities at the same time. It's amazing.
It's
man.
amazing
Exactly.
work, bro.
It's amazing. You're doing
Is that partly why you were invited to the House of Commons?
Yeah, so I'm invited to the House of Commons a number of times. So firstly, it was around giving evidence to the Parliamentary Select Committee on how to engage with young people involved in criminality, creating employment opportunities. But like, this was all early on. I realised the government, unless it suits their agenda, it's just not really going to work. So for us, kind of took a step back from that. But the beautiful thing of one of those experiences, I met an amazing young man that was brought along by a youth organisation. And he said he never heard anyone speak so open and honest about their past before.
Wow.
So he's another one that we kind of took under our wing, and he's doing exceptionally well now. He's at KPMG, believe
Wow.
it or not. Do you know what I mean? He's doing exceptionally well for himself, and we're really proud of him. And it's one of those things where I'm always open and honest about my journey, because you just never know who's going to be able to hear a part of it and that's going to resonate with them. So when I go into those spaces, I remain myself. You know, obviously, I switch it up a bit so they can understand
Of course.
where I'm coming
to,
from.
innit?
Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, if the right young person hears it, they can pick it up. So now we're working with the government behind the scenes to make sure that these opportunities continue, and also how we can scale our operations. Just right now, we're London-based. We want to be national in the next couple of years. How can we ensure that, and how can we share some of our learnings with other community organisations as well, so they can tap into some of the success that we have as well. And also, we want to learn from others that are doing what we're doing. So there are things that we can do with the government, but certain changes need to happen in order for us to continue those conversations.
Without a doubt, because, you know, structural institutional change is necessary, I think.
Absolutely.
Because that could be a factor to affecting someone, young person's life, you know.
This is it. And like, those kind of changes are not going to happen overnight.
No, definitely.
So you need the right kind of people around the table, and those that are willing to put in the work that needs to happen. And the issue with the government is they think in 4-year cycles.
Yeah, because obviously till the next election.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas our vision is beyond 4 years.
Yeah.
So that's where there's a bit of friction. So it's like, what can you do now? How can you affect this change now? But it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's a long-term
And the beauty
process.
is, because of what we've been doing it for over years now, we've built up that track record.
Yeah.
People can say that, these guys have stood the test of time, and they're still getting bigger, and you know, the impact is continuing to grow. Amount of young people they work with year on year is continuing to grow, so they can take us seriously, and like, the numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? Like, the impact and what the young people go on to do doesn't lie.
And you see your cohort, how often do you recruit your cohort?
Every 3 months. We're
Every
currently
3 months.
recruiting now.
Wow.
Wow. You know what I mean?
That's a crazy turnover.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, so each cohort, this current cohort that's starting on the 14th of September, we're recruiting 75 young people for. Next cohort is in January, we're recruiting 150. And we're looking to do 150 for each quarter of next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And who knows where those 150 people are going to, and it multiplies and it multiplies and it multiplies. That's loads of good deeds just multiplying. Just
This is it.
spiraling, you know. And I really want to commend you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Like, obviously,
Thank
I
you
don't
very
like,
much.
like it might not mean anything like in terms of like an accolade, but for like it's really inspirational, bro.
No, for real,
Like
man.
it's an amazing thing what you're doing and where you've come from and how you're doing it and the success that you're seeing from it. Like I just hope it goes even better and bigger.
No, definitely.
Thank
It continues to flourish, you know. So like, I just want to thank you for taking your time out.
No, thank
to-
you, man.
to-
Like I said, like these conversations need to happen.
They
and
need to.
Yeah, I commend you guys for what you started here as well, and I
Thanks,
hope it
man.
does continue, and
Thanks,
more
man.
people get to hear more stories like this, so that they
Yeah.
can be inspired and know that, yeah, there's life after the roads.
No,
Yeah, man, definitely. There's definitely life after the roads. You're living testimony to that. I think I'm living proof, kind of.
Sure are.
You know, I'm trying to
Sure
get
are.
there. So, like, hopefully, soon we'd like to have you back on when you have the more free time. Hopefully,
No, for real.
to get you back on and chop it up and see.
Yeah, sure. Just
like,
let me know,
what
man.
the
We'll
next
make it
stages
happen.
are. What the next stages are. So, just to conclude, like, have you guys any producer? Let me just producers. You guys got any questions you want to throw in? You ain't got no questions you want to throw in? You?
Questions?
No, I was surprised. You normally would have said, yeah. No, I appreciate that. So now you're married now, kid.
Got a little boy.
Yeah. How old?
8 months.
Wow,
Oh.
daddy now.
Yeah.
The sleeping pattern's a bit peak. Or
No,
is
do
it
you know
alright?
what? It's not too bad, you know. My mother-in-law's been great. Moved my mother-in-law in, so she's
Nice.
got him pattern. He's
Excellent.
sleeping like 4 or 6 hours
Yeah.
uninterrupted. So
Calm.
yeah, no, we're good on that
Lucky
front.
there still.
Nah, trust me. Yeah, I hear a lot of horror stories, but yeah, my little one's really good on the sleep
Yeah.
front.
Oh, that's
good.
amazing,
Yeah.
man. That's cool. Does that change you being a father
In what way?
in a way that, like, for example, does it make you more driven? Does it make you more aware of the decisions you make? Does it like how does it?
I would
make
say
you
it
as a
has. It has changed me. I've always been driven. The drive is always still gonna be there.
person?
But what it's done for me, it's kind of affirmed certain things that I believed about myself. So it's like my whole life is structured. I like to believe that I'm living out a script, and you know I get the scripts and I just play the role. So before I had my son, I gave myself 2 years after getting married. I said, cool, we're gonna enjoy ourselves for 2 years, and then the child's gonna come. And then by the time my children are of school going age, I only want to work 4-hour days, 3 days a week, so I could be there in the morning, take them to school, have breakfast, and be able to pick them up from school, and then just kind of download their day. Because there's certain things that I didn't have growing up, and I wanted to be in a position to be able to provide that kind of lifestyle for my children.
Yeah.
So in the early years, my early years of my growing the organization, growing the business, I had that in mind. So early on, I could do the late nights,
Early
early
mornings.
mornings, bang out the work, you know, not really worry about where I'm going to sleep, what I'm going to eat and all of that, because I had this in mind. I want to, by the time my kids are school going age, I want to get the organization to a particular point where I'm not doing too much. I'm involved in a few film projects here and there, and all I'm doing is just in meetings all day, and I can do that in and around. So I kind of built my whole life around my family.
Yeah.
So I'm
respect
present.
that, man.
Do you know what I mean?
I
So
respect
that.
for me, it's like, that's it happening now is like, rah.
It's coming to fruition.
You know what I mean? I'll get into that stage, and yeah, not to say that I didn't believe it would happen, but you know, him coming at this stage, and I'm just thinking, looking at my life and thinking, yeah, you're there,
you're
man.
there,
So I've
no.
got what, 3 more years, and yeah, so that's
That's a
the
good
plan,
look.
you know, and obviously by God's grace, we have a couple more by
Yeah,
then.
man. God willing,
You
it all
know.
goes well for
No,
you,
for
man.
real.
You know,
No,
as
for
we say,
real.
inshallah, it goes well, bro.
No,
You get
thank
me?
you.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Nah,
Duro
thank you so
Oye.
much for having me, guys.
All his socials should be down here.
Come on.
Thank you.
Hit
thank
him
you,
up. You know,
Have to give
check
him a round of
all
applause
the
for
great
his
work that
exits, bro.
2020 Change do.
Thank you.
You're also an ambassador for a few organisations, am I right?
Yeah, so I'm a trustee for a number of charities, and I'm ambassador for a private members club, a homegrown club. Make sure you check them out.
Check them out. They're all going to be there. That's XConversations.